I didn't expect anything. I didn't expect to be this old. I didn't expect to be this fat. I didn't expect to be this bald.
None of that.
My life is just full of the unexpected.
If you'd have asked me at 10 years old what I expected to play Major League Baseball. Couldn't hit a curveball, but I expected to play Major League Baseball. If you'd asked me at 15,
you're supposed to do it.
Yeah, if you'd asked me at 15, I'd have told you I was going to play college football. Accomplished. If you'd have asked me at 20, I'd have told you I'd been dead by 30.
Well, there you go.
And by the way, I gave it every opportunity to kill myself.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, hey.
With all the crazy stuff I did, I gave myself ample opportunity not to make it past 30.
Well, and again, you're absolutely right, and that's why when young people do stupid things, I always kind of go, yeah, I can see how that happened. When older people do stupid things, I'm like, you should have known better at some point.
At some point in your life, you got to know better.
I remember there was a story where Justin Bieber drove his Ferrari or his Lamborghini like 160 miles an hour in Miami.
Right.
I'm like, yeah, okay.
Well, he's 19.
Well, what's the problem? If you gave me that car at 19, guess what I would do?
160 in Miami.
I had a motorcycle, a Honda Hurricane 600, and I went 130, I think, on the turnpike. So, yeah, I couldn't go any faster because I was scared to death. But in a car, I'd have gone much faster.
Been
much faster.
The speedometer on my Nova Super Sport, my 72 Nova, said 130 miles an hour. I had it past that numerous times.
Well, if you don't, and again, back in the day, if you had a car and you hadn't pegged it, then you weren't living up to your expectations.
Right? When was the last time, though, you pegged the speedometer on your car? Not the work car, because I don't want to get taken from you,
No, gosh, no. My work car's 140 on the speedometer. I'm like, I'm not going near that. No, it's been a very, 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 very long time. Probably I had an Acura Integra. It was a great car. And I think I pegged that somewhere in Mexico, New Mexico.
Yeah, the last time I was over 100 miles an hour even was I had a Nissan 240 SX, not a 240Z, but the little sports coupe, the SX they made.
Yeah.
And I had the sports coupe, the two-seater sports coupe, and I'd spent a little money on doing some things to the little, and it had a 6-cylinder in it, not a 4-cylinder. I'd spend a little money doing something with that, and I got a guy on a 75 between Valdosta and Tifton that wanted to give it a go in his Mustang. And I said, well, let's see what this Nissan will do against that Mustang. And we went for probably about 5 miles, weaving in and out, probably about 110, 115 miles an hour like morons. I was 33, 34. So it's been 20, 21 years since I've done anything that stupid.
Now, my wife, when I got my wife's BMW, I took it over 100 miles an hour.
Well, don't you have to, the BMW,
Easy. Though? It was, by the way, it was easy. I got her the 4-cylinder, or the 4 Series convertible. My God, that was easy. I was like, that's ridiculous right there. the 60 to, and I was on I-75, the 60 to 100 was like, wow. I was like, okay.
And see,
I'm going to put it back in Comfort Plus mode.
but the things you do for excitement change as you get older and wiser.
Oh, heck yeah.
Like, there's no bungee jumping in my future. There's no, zip lines. Not zip lines. There's no bungee jumping. There's no there's none of that where they take you up and you do the free fall and you swing over. There's none of that in my life.
Like adrenaline is no longer important.
No, there's no skydiving in my future.
No. You know what I get a lot? This is crazy, but I am at the point now where I like to I have a goal every year to take about at least 3,000 pictures of my family, right? And I find myself having more joy just sitting there and watching some random slideshow that Google's made for me than almost anything. And I'm like, man, God, I'm getting old. Literally getting old. My wife, this Saturday, she goes, what are you doing? And I'm like, what? She goes, you're just smiling. I said, oh, look, Google made me a slideshow. And it was like 5 minutes long, and that was the joy of my Saturday.
And by the way, Google does a good job with the slideshows.
Yeah, they do. I mean, some of the photos were terrible. That's not the point, And of course, I share it with my whole family, and they're like, I'm not watching.
Okay, wonderful, yeah.
Crazy
old man sending out Google things again.
He's getting old. And then my son's home from college for like 2 hours, and he says, Dad, why did you send that? I'm like, I liked it. He goes,
yeah.
Man,
Dad, no more Google collages, Dad. No more.
Yeah. But I'm like, no, it had the animation. He goes, yeah. And he literally looked at me like, that dude is the dumbest.
Well, here's how you combat that, though. Dad, no more Google collages sitting to my phone, please. Yeah, and no more insurance payment on the car either.
Well, yeah, that's I don't know.
Then
I've done that.
You know what? Then he's taking the Google
done that.
collages. He's like, Dad, send me a Google collage every other day.
Please, yeah. You got to pick your battles, though. And I will tell you, and my wife and I talk about this all the time, because I have one that's 20 and one that's 17. Like my 17-year-old, if I talk to him once a day, right? If I have like a 2-word sentence once a day, it's a good day. Now with my 20-year-old, he calls me randomly, and we text back and forth every day, and it's like they go away, and then they realize, hey, that dude's not nearly as dumb as I thought he was, and then they come back to you.
Look, I am jealous every day, and this is something I got cheated out of, but I'm jealous every day of conversations like you're having right now, and that you said, because at 17 my dad was taken from me. I didn't have that confidant that once I got old enough to realize how smart he was, that I could go back and say, you were a hell of a guy. I mean, I know that now. When I'm looking back now, when I look back and stuff that he told me when I was 15, 16,
Sure.
17, because he was preparing me for the world, and I thought, whatever, old man, the hell do you know? When I got in my 30s, some of the stuff he had said when I was 15, 16 started happening. I was like, damn, how did he know?
Right.
But there was no way to call and ask him, but he just knew because he had lived it already. That's how I knew. But you don't know that at the time. You figure it out. But, children sometimes don't realize the huge advantage they have of their parents being there with them through their childhood age, all the way through young adults. And I love Susan's parents. Her mom and dad are both still alive. Her dad, Ray, is 81 years young. And, I mean, he texts me or we talk once, twice a week. And she talks to her family, her parents, once, twice a week. Hell, she calls her mom, and they watch 90 Day Fiancé together and talk about it on the phone. And I goof on her, and I laugh at her about it. But, I don't have my mom or my dad. So sometimes, even though you goof and laugh, it's really a jealous thing because you wish you had that opportunity. So if you're out there under the age of 25 again and your parents are still alive, go out of your way to make sure the relationship with your parents stays solid.
Yeah. And again, I think one of the things you said is right. I think, as a parent, you have to raise your kids to live in this world. And there's a lot of parents that don't. My son, when he's at home for more than 3 days, I'm like, man, you don't belong here. It's one of those things.
Are you a
home? You just can't stay.
But you just can't stay. Yeah.
So and it's an interesting. It's always fascinating, but my wife doesn't. Both of her parents died, and there's not a day that goes by that she doesn't miss them, and something, and then every once in a while it gets and I'm sure you feel it where you get enveloped by that just sheer missing of your parents.
And
I miss my dad
it's
every
strange.
day,
It's strange where it happens or what triggers it. That's the thing
sure.
that people don't like.
Sure.
I'll be riding down, and I'm letting into my secret world here. But I'll be riding down the road, and you know that song that says, "I've been watching you, Dad. Ain't that cool? I'm your buckaroo." You know the country song there, where a little 4-year-old. Yeah. Anyway, it's a song from about 10 years ago. My 4-year-old said a 4-letter word. And I asked him where did he learn it. He goes, "I've been watching you, Dad." I'm driving down the road 3 or 4 weeks ago. That song comes on. That hits me. I had to pull over and gather myself just because it got me emotional about my dad there. And it was a song on the radio at 1 o'clock in the afternoon driving down 200. And I had to pull in because you never know when that overwhelming missing will take place.
Yeah.
You just don't.
And then you stop and thinking like, wow. I'm so thankful for what I had with them,
100%.
I am.
I'm as thankful as anybody that I had at least 17 years.
Sure.
There are a lot of people. There are a lot of kids. There was a kid in my neighborhood. His dad had gotten killed in Vietnam. He never knew his dad. His mom was pregnant with him when his dad got killed in Vietnam. So who am I to be upset that I only got 17 years? This kid, which was a very good friend of mine, Paul Thies in Jacksonville, he got nobody. All he had was his mom and his aunts. He never knew his dad. He knew a picture of his dad. So who am I to complain? Hey, speaking of who am I, I'm the guy running the board that says we got to go to commercial because we got to pay the bills. Galen from Life South. We'll be right back after this timeout. He's brought to you by the good folks at Palm Garden, Just Shipped, and Penn Flooring.
Are you or your loved one being released from a hospital and wondering how you'll manage? Inform your physician that you want to go to Palm Garden of Ocala at 2700 Southwest 34th Street for your rehabilitation. Palm Garden provides pain management, post-discharge follow-up, diabetic care, psychosocial support, and so much more. Plus, they even offer outpatient rehab. This award-winning care facility has a team of licensed professionals dedicated to enhancing your independence. Call 352-854-6262 today.
Are you wasting time boxing up packages and going to the post office or the UPS store? Are you tired of not knowing what you'll pay when you get there? Just Ship offers pickup service and flat rate packaging and postage rates, which takes the guesswork out of shipping while saving you time and money. So quit wasting valuable time and money. Call or text Just Ship at 352-234-3840. That's 352-234-3840. Just Shipped.
Hi, this is JP from Penn Flooring here in Ocala. I would like to invite you to come in and visit our spacious showroom where we have solutions for every style and budget. From wall-to-wall carpet to hardwood floors and tiles, we have an unsurpassed selection of flooring. At Penn Flooring, we provide a quality customer service with a family touch for over 25 years. Visit our website at pennflooring.com or come by our showroom, 1201 Southwest 17th Street, just over the bridge. Penn Flooring, quality customer service with a family touch.
The National Weather Service says Florida is the lightning capital of the country. More people die from strikes in Florida than any other state. Wednesday the 28th at 9:30, Kimberly Lohr with the National Lightning Safety Council will be our guest to enlighten us about this deadly and destructive yet underrated weather threat and how her council is working to build lightning-safe communities. Again, that's 9:30, Wednesday the 28th.
Now you've done it. Have you lost your mind? He's back. And you're listening again. A legend in his own mind. Don't believe me? Just ask him. Here's Tom Schmitz live on WOCA. The Source.
Welcome back to Ocala Talk.
You're getting ready to move and you work hard. That's why you call Two Men in a Truck, 352-289-0666. You need pros. Trained professional moving experts to do the heavy lifting for you. That's why you call Two Men in a Truck.
Say that I watched the Olympics for a while last night.
Oh, wow. Wow. All right. I haven't watched a single second of it.
I watched the swimming last night. I watched some water polo. You watch some water polo and you know how hard it is to tread water and everything, and they're fighting with each other. Water polo, those are some studs that are in that pool because you got to be in good shape to play water polo.
No doubt. No doubt.
I mean, it was just.
Speaking of water polo, you didn't answer my trivia question that I sent you this weekend.
Did I see a trivia question from you?
Yeah, you laughed and made some Atlanta Braves
joke. Did you
joke.
text it to me?
But, yeah, I'm going to say it, and then we can get back into it. It's got something to do with the Olympics.
Oh yeah,
What is considered
right
the oldest team sport in the world?
My first guess would be football, but I mean soccer, but that's not correct. So I'm going to go with water polo. I don't know.
It's just polo.
Polo. Oh.
It goes back to 600 BC. There you go.
Wow, I did not know that. You have stumped.
Welcome.
You have stumped the Tribinator.
I feel really good about myself right now. I'm not gonna lie.
I would. It's very difficult to stump the Tribinator. I got to give you that.
You're probably Googling that right now, but that's okay. Google away. So
I'm
swimming
sure.
is always decent during the Olympics.
Yeah, the American,
Anything exciting happen?
The American's 17-year-old American from Alaska.
Oh yeah, I think I saw her.
She won a gold medal last night. She doesn't even have a 50-meter pool to swim in. The biggest pool they have is 25 meters. She doesn't even train. She swims the 100. She doesn't even train in a pool that has a 50-meter pool.
Right. Yeah, it's pretty impressive.
That's really impressive because having to swim 50 yards before you turn is a whole lot different than having to swim 25 meters before you turn. And yes, when you say, Tom, how do you know about Olympic swimming? Go check the name Karen Ciesla. From 1984 to 1988, she was ranked in the top 5 in the world in the 1,500 meter, and she was my high school sweetheart. Took her to prom. So I used to be her lap counter. I would hold the numbers under the water so she would be able to see what lap she was on. 30 laps in the pool, pal.
What?
30 laps in the pool.
From your high school prom?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
But she was a world-class. She swam for the Dynamo Swim Club in Atlanta. She was a world-class swimmer who also was one of the many people who helped turn in what was going on with U.S. Swim. So, kudos to her.
Oh, wow.
She swam at a bad college, though. She chose to go because at the time Florida was such a good swimming school. They had just built, the O'Connell Center with the swim pool in and everything. So she chose to go build a program instead of come to an already established program. So she left Atlanta to go to Florida State.
She's a better human being for it. I think we can all agree with that. Maybe not a better swimmer, but a better human being because there's not not much comes from
great.
My wife is the exception.
But that's how I know about Olympic swimming because I used to go to swim meets all the time.
That's cool. So what else? So you watched water polo and swimming.
I watched
what
that.
What did you think about the coverage?
And I watched. I went over and watched some rugby on USA. I like the coverage they got. They got it on the Olympic Channel, the USA Channel, CNBC. So that's good because now garbage is not on CNBC. The Olympics are. I like that. NBC.
CNBC's nothing but the stock market. You mean MSNBC?
No, CNBC is what they put it on.
Oh, okay.
And then they put it on NBC Sports Network too. So there's a lot of coverage out there of the Olympics. You can watch tonight. Today, right now, going on right now this morning, because it's nighttime in Japan. The U.S. women are competing in the gymnastics, and although they're the favorite, they lost in the preliminary preliminaries, they lost to Russia by 1 point. So there's some concern that they may not win the gold this year. But who knows? It's gymnastics. It's a bunch of 17-year-old girls, 16-year-old girls that, have been pushed and dogged since they were like 4 years old to be really, really good. And I just.
Did you ever watch the documentary about the Bella Carolis?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh boy, what was that called? It was on Netflix or Amazon or something like that. And I watched it, and I literally looked at my wife and I said, it's going to be really difficult to watch the gymnastics ever again, because they're basically, and it talked about, Kelly Strug. You remember she did the vault to break her ankle, right? Or she did it on a broken ankle.
Right.
And you're like, man, the mental and physical abuse that they put these kids through. But again, once they win a gold medal, they ride that for the rest of their lives.
What's it called? It's called heavy. What is it called? Heavy metal. Yeah, heavy metals inside the Corolla. Right? Yeah, it's at ESPN 30 for 30.
Oh, is that right? Okay, that's what it was. I thought this one was about, and at the same time they were talking about the guy who was molesting all of the gymnasts.
No, that was where is it? Here it is. Athlete A. What does it do next?
Something. Anyway,
Maybe
it was really an inside look, and it talks about how if you wanted to be on the U.S. Olympic team,
Athlete A is the most engaging sexual abuse documentary yet. Talks about the Bella Carolis and their farm and how they look past what they knew was happening because they were winning. And
Yes.
Athlete A.
And one of the things it talked about is you had to send your child there.
Galen, hold on. Let's talk about what it talks about after we take this time out. You're listening to 1370 AM, 96.3 FM. This is WOCA, The Source.
Broadcasting from the Ocala International Airport, this is WOCA AM, W242CA FM, Ocala, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Today in Ag News, some of Southeast AgNet, USDA wants